Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gabel.
And my name is Jacob Wurtz, guys. Welcome to episode 146 of the Untapped Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, first of all, thank you. We are thrilled to have you here with us. We've actually got 5 main formats of our show. So first, we have Forging Fortitude episodes. Now, in these episodes, we cover the mental side of our brand. We go over our anecdotal experiences with things like mindset and mentality. We then pass on tips and advice to you guys to then apply to your own lives. Next, we have Physical Vitality episodes, which is what we have today for you guys. In these episodes, we cover the physical side of our brand. So we really get to showcase our expertise because you have 2 certified personal trainers here. In these episodes, we cover Untapped Training, which is very much alive and well. We are continuing to gain more and more clients, which is awesome. So guys, please reach out about any questions, ideas, or whatever you have surrounding Untapped Training. If you want to find out what packages we offer, what we can do for you, and we have a wide range of both of those things. So please reach out with any questions. We are more than willing and pumped to help you get results as we dive into this year. Along with that, in these episodes, we cover everything to do with the gym, nutrition, diet, workouts, mental toughness programs like 75 Hard, supplements, and then sometimes we will take trending articles or trends. Nope. Trends, articles, what did I usually say?
Trends, articles,
Trending topics or articles. Wow.
Yeah.
Within the fitness industry and give our thoughts and opinions on those. Guys, those physical vitality or these physical vitality episodes are full of free game, so make sure you pay attention.
Not to mention, as we mentioned in the last episode or the end of last episode, Untapped Training is anabolic.
Yes,
So,
right.
That's factual.
Just even having the app.
Oh, by the way, and if you were just like me and you just didn't have any script, you have to follow, and I mess up the format, the format descriptions every time.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have to worry about whether it's like trending topics or not.
Right,
Just
right.
like be an idiot like me. All right, guys, on to our third format. That is our breaking news format. It's a current event-based format. We talk about current events and current articles going on in the world. Inauguration Day is coming up for President Donald Trump.
Actually, when you guys are listening to this.
Actually, yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's crazy to say. But yeah, so that's coming up. That's a good example of a current event or current article we would talk about. Now, a lot of the current event space is doom and gloom and everything is crumbling to the ground, all that stuff, which can be extremely stressful for us when we talk about those topics, and then also you. So our entire brand is not that. We provide value on those episodes and how to turn those things around. On to our fourth format. The fourth format is our Knights Table format. That is a masculinity-based format. We touch on things like toxic masculinity, if it's real, what it is, fatherhood, the impact it's had on all 3 of our lives in here for that matter, actually. And then also male topics in general and how important men are to the world and also the future of the world as well on those. Now, keep in mind, I'm 26, Wurtz is 26, Mitchell, our producer, is 24. Because of that reason, we are not coming to you from the top of the mountain as a man, some kind of perfect put together man. We will never be that. The only perfect man to ever walk the earth is Jesus Christ. On to our fifth format. That is our guest format. We sit down with an entrepreneur, fitness professional, athlete, doctor, anybody that brings you value and has a great story and is something we can help you guys learn. And then also we end up learning a lot from those episodes too. That's the goal on those. Our last thing to introduce is our producer and my brother, Mitchell Gabel.
What's up, dudes?
What's going on, dude?
Hey, bro. Little midday
I like your
recording for
haircut.
us, eh?
I know. Like I said to you earlier, it feels like the old days when you and I were able to get together in the middle of the day. It's
And like Mitchell said, with a nice haircut. So,
Oh, yeah.
Shout out Beardsley's.
Shout out Beardsley's.
And for
always.
Mitchell, as it cleaned up too right now.
Nah, like a week.
Yeah.
it's
Grows fast.
Yeah.
It
feel that.
stays well because they do such a good job there. at
See, that's the
Beardsley's,
problem,
so-
Wurtzy. Since we have such a excellent hairline and excellent hair growth.
2/3 of the podcast does.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Damn it!
We have the opposite issue. This gentleman over here has,
Correct.
where it looks like a toilet bowl at some points in time, or the cul-de-sac, whatever you want to call it. But
Did you say ball sack?
no, the cul-de-sac.
That would be comedy.
No, the
You need to
cul-de-sac.
enunciate cul-de-sac a
cul-de-sac.
little bit
Cul-de-sac.
more.
He's gonna have only the sides and the top's gonna be gone.
You're right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, so
Yeah,
we have
well,
the opposite issue.
Exactly, because we are superior beings.
Correct.
Yes.
Just remember, listeners. All right, I'm 6'4", and Mitchell's 5'8". So it makes up for the hair loss a little bit on my end, but it's not.
It's like
great.
that little Uzi Vert quote, though.
Standing on money or whatever.
Stand my money, I'm 5, or without my money, I'm 5'4". Stand my money, I'm 6'6", or something like that. Yeah.
Kind of hard.
It is a tough one.
Yeah.
I will say he's very demonic, but
Yeah. No, we don't like that.
no,
But
we don't like demon shit. But anyways, that's not.
I
the point
swear
of
you
these
said
episodes.
ball sack, man. That's crazy.
That is hilarious.
It's like he's got what on top of his
I
head?
mean, it would be inaccurate too. So.
How would that be? How would that be an accurate description of my head? How would my head look like a ball sack?
When he goes bald, Wurtz, that's what he's gonna look like. I mean,
I'm gonna have it all wrinkly and shit.
Stop it. This is crazy.
It's like when was the moment you clicked off the Untapped podcast? Wow.
Well, about 6 minutes in.
They started talking about ball sacks.
Hell, that's what Andy was doing. Andy and DJ were talking about that on one of their
Dude,
past
they- yeah,
episodes.
dude,
He
they
goes,
get-
maybe this is why I can't have kids.
Yeah, he said he put like red hot, like icy hot on his balls or something like that. I was like, what is wrong with these two? That's what's so
Oh,
funny is like
man.
it gives me hope that we BS around, but then you listen to Andy and DJ and they do the same thing. And it's like, okay,
Right.
that makes me feel a little bit better about the fact that we
Right.
get so off topic at the start. But
And
Yeah.
we get off topic a lot. And you look at almost any podcast, and they all do too.
yeah,
I mean, look at Rogan's episodes. They cover everything.
I would say probably the only ones that are really just on point are like Chris Williamson and
Yeah.
Huberman Lab.
Yeah.
And those guys are very only educational.
Okay,
Like the
sure.
entertainment factor is not,
Sure.
I shouldn't say it's not there because I enjoy those podcasts, but the fact is they're very educational
Right.
based.
Right.
We have educational, but also there's a personality aspect to it as
Absolutely.
well. So, and that's
Absolutely.
what you're going to get here for those of you that maybe this is the first time listening. By the way,
If this is your first time listening, welcome.
welcome.
We don't usually talk about those things.
Nuts.
And yeah, right. We don't usually talk about ball sacks that often anyway. But damn.
Talk about optimizing. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that doesn't really transition well.
So
okay.
today, yes, we're talking about optimization of exercises.
Sorry for the transition, guys. It doesn't make a lot of sense there, but that's okay. But optimization is the physical vitality episode topic today. Again, we love these physical vitality episodes, and this one's going to be just like the other ones where we're going to give out some free value to you guys about what does optimal exercises or optimization mean when it comes to the fitness industry, because a lot of the times, especially nowadays, at least from on our content that we see on social, optimize is a very common word that's used. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
buzzword for everything.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be used for everything because, again, like as we'll go into, not every exercise is perfectly optimal. Probably not every exercise is going to cover every basis in the world. You know, it's like, oh, lat pull downs are the ultimate exercise. Not true.
You're right.
You know,
They're a great one.
they're a great one.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And that we're not here to hate on any exercise for
No.
that matter. There can be uses for essentially any exercise.
Well, and that's, as we're kind of prefacing here, that was something that I think you actually said it during the episode with Brock, where we were talking about the back squat topic, because that's obviously a big, almost a buzzword in itself as well. But
Oh, you back squat? What is wrong with you?
you're right.
Yeah.
But you made the comment, you said no exercise is inherently bad. Now, are there ones that might be more beneficial or less beneficial for a particular individual? Sure, of course. One thing might work for you. One thing might work for me. One thing might work for Mitch. And as a matter of fact, that's probably the case.
That's exactly what the case
Exactly.
is. Yeah.
And
100%.
that's honestly kind of the awesome thing about being strength coaches is it keeps us on our toes, and we have to have the adaptability in order to program anyone. We can't just have a cookie cutter program unless you're going to just sell programs. Then obviously that's a different story. But when you're doing custom programming like we do in the Custom Untapped app, shout out.
No big deal.
No big deal. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's actually a big deal. It's awesome.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah. Like the Untapped logo is literally on the app
And
on your phone.
2 male models are on the
And
starter.
2 male models. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know them.
We're working up the chain with Vex.
Yeah.
We're getting up to male model status.
Right.
Yeah.
Where was I going with this though? But when you're doing custom programming and things like that, like we have to, number one, that's why we take the time to do the intake information. When you initially meet with us, like we find out what your needs, your goals, your deficiencies, your
Previous
injuries. Exactly.
yeah, health history. Yeah.
Exactly. And while also staying within our scope of practice, let's just
Make that very clear.
For the caveat there.
Yeah, we're not here to medically diagnose.
Exactly.
Please don't ask us to do that either.
Yeah,
That puts us in a really weird spot.
That is a funny, okay, side comment here. That is a really funny thing. People see, hear, or know strength coaches, personal trainers, whatever, and they associate us with doctors.
Yep.
And like knowing medical
like
things.
pathology.
No, literally.
Understanding disease and all this
Disease
stuff.
or, right. Or it's just like, I'm not really sure why that is the case.
Well, I would say my argument to that would be like that most people don't specialize in health like we do,
Sure.
So like most people think of health as just this very round box.
Huge, like umbrella.
It's a huge umbrella that covers multiple things, when in reality, there's a lot of specializations with it. As we know, there's a difference between physical therapy and chiropractic, just like there's a difference between personal trainers, strength coaches, and I don't know, let's say massage therapist or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good example.
There's so many different things
or even
within that.
Even strictly a group class instructor. Like there's differences there too, So
and don't get me wrong, do we have a physiological understanding of those things and like things that could set you in the right direction? Sure.
Right.
But we're not here to prescribe. We're not here to do anything diagnose-wise, do anything medical-wise that usually like an MD would cover.
Right. Like
that's not the job.
If your shoulder's hurting, I can't just be like, you probably tore your rotator cuff. That's a great way for us to get sued.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
We're going to be like, hey, we have these friends that are physical therapists or chiropractors. Go check them out.
Exactly.
That's where
that's where it ends. Like I can't answer anything else.
100%.
But anyway, I was just making the point where we have to be adaptable and be able to make adjustments person to person. Yeah. And it's a cool thing.
And again, that's where that buzzword can come into play with optimization, because, we aim to optimize every program for everybody.
Of course.
But oftentimes, many things work for some people, many things work for other people. So not like there are plenty of people that, let's say they went on you went and bought a program from, one of like us or a strength coach that if you bought that strength coach program and then also, let's say, 5 other guys did, probably at least 3 or 4 of them are also going to have really good results from that just cookie cutter program.
Sure.
As well, But will there be factors missed in it? Absolutely there will be. I know our mics are like shaking right now. I noticed that too. Anyways, but there will be things that are missed, of course, because, if you buy a cookie cutter program and then you had just 4 months ago rehabbed your meniscus, for example, and you already went through physical therapy, all that stuff, then you want to get back into strength training, you were really looking for more of the personalized programming route there than anything else.
Yes.
And a reputable personal trainer or strength coach, because if you do one that's just like, oh yeah, we can just get back to, you haven't lifted in 4 months, but let's put 405 on the bar and start squatting it.
Right.
It's not going to work.
Right.
So, but there is the other side of optimization where it can become too much.
Yes.
Where it can become that you're doing the most niche exercises you see on Instagram or on whatever social media is your choice with that stuff. And you're going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole and being like, well, isn't this optimal? Isn't this optimal? Isn't this optimal? And next thing you know, you hate working out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's so confusing.
Right.
And you don't understand what's going on. You are just lost, basically lost in the sauce, essentially, at that point in time. And that's why it's important too, unless you really want to specialize in exercise science or in some kind of personal trainer or strength coach, I wouldn't recommend for most of the average population or even former athletes to go down those rabbit holes.
Right.
Because it really can be very restrictive.
Yeah.
Going in the gym and just having a plan, let's say you do push-pull legs 3 days a week, or you do upper-lower full-body split or whatever, you do an entirely full-body split.
Both of those are super great, by the way.
Really good. Really good splits.
Very easy to break it down, too.
100%. And anybody can recognize a push-pull leg split,
For sure.
or can recognize an upper-lower full-body split. That's very simplified, and it's very easy to follow, which makes it more likely that you're going to stick to the program, which is also part of the reason that you also pass that on to a strength coach or personal trainer, because it takes the guesswork out for you.
Correct.
You don't have to think about it. You don't have to have a headache about what am I doing today in the gym? I mean, I really could do lat pull downs, but maybe I should do a single arm variation of them. Maybe that would be better. And you start just over and over again obsessing about it. That's going to be a extreme detriment to your health journey.
I would say that's almost as bad as not having a plan at all.
Correct.
Going into the gym without a plan, without a program, whether you write it yourself, which if you're not someone that knows how to do that, then I don't recommend you do that. You know, that would be like me trying to, go out and skate with NHL players. Like, that's not what I do. Like,
And that would be like me getting in the batting cages and trying to compete with like someone like Matt.
Exactly. So, or either one of us trying to do what Mitch does. Like, it wouldn't work.
Correct.
We would fail, and we wouldn't get the results that his company is looking for. Just like you wouldn't get the results you're looking for physically. But I would say that's just as bad, because if you don't have a plan, then one day you do lat pull downs, and then you do some legs, or you use every machine or whatever, and then you come in the next day, and then you just did lat pull downs, so now you're doing barbell rows, and it's like you're hammering everything every day. And that's not going to be sustainable. That's not going to work. And then, just like you just mentioned, if you're always trying to do the next best thing, you're never consistently doing the same movements, which, as we have talked about many times, in a good program, whether it's 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12, 16, whatever the amount of time is that's your program, you have to do the same movements over and over and over again. Number one, so you can track progress, and then you're getting stronger, you're putting on more muscle mass and things like that. But also, that's how you get those results. Doing different stuff every day for push is not going to get you results in the way that you want it to be. You might see some gains initially because you're hammering chest or something, but long term, it's not going to get you what you're looking for.
And what you're talking about right now, let's say you do 4 to 6 weeks of the same moves on your push day and whatnot. That's not optimization. That's just good programming.
Yeah, right.
At that point in time. Because, and guess why that is, guys? Again, for those of you that don't know what progressive overload is, that is the whole idea there. That's not optimization. That's just a very basic concept of you actually getting results in the gym at that point in time. Because if you start 1 week on dumbbell press, for example, at 80 pounds on the dumbbells, and then by the 6th week, you're able to get up to the 90s or 95s, that's progressive overload. You just improved and have a metric you can now follow.
Right.
That makes your progress so much easier. So if you can have that concept right there, and you can consistently week by week progress metrics like that, that's the, in quotations, optimization you need.
Right.
It doesn't have to be, again, like Wurtz saying, you're optimizing by shocking the body and changing up the workout every single time you come back into the gym. Every week you have a different workout for each body part and whatnot, and you're shocking the body.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
The only thing that shocks the body is like a cold plunge or sauna.
yeah, really.
Like,
as we know,
cold
plunge feels like you're about to die in there. Or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, it's
your
crazy.
heart rate's about to stop entirely. But yeah, but that 100%, that would be shock of the body. Your body responds to stimulus. It responds to these exercises you give it that then allow you to progress on muscle gain, allow you to progress on muscular endurance, allow you to progress on athletic performance. Because that's another thing with athletic performance too. For you young athletes, the gym is just a tool to address deficiencies on the field.
Yeah.
Playing your sport is the number one thing for you athletes.
Right.
First off, then the gym can address needed issues that are arising.
Sure.
And whatnot. You're getting pushed over in every hockey game you play in. You're not hitting the ball far enough. Maybe your mechanics aren't great, so you need to actually go get hands-on actual batting training.
Right.
In the scenario of baseball. With hockey, it's like your decision-making is not great. That means you need to play your sport in that scenario. But if you're getting pushed over and thrown around by guys on the ice, that's where strength training can really address deficiencies.
Yeah.
That doesn't really sound, in my opinion, like optimization. It just sounds like logic.
Yeah, right.
Is what we're following here. So it doesn't need to be that you're doing a single leg anti-rotational overhead press into a squat, into a this, into a that, into a hinge, all this stuff, as we see with movements a lot of times.
Do we need to try whatever you just said there?
Yeah, do it on camera. We can demonstrate for people. That'd be so funny, actually. But there was, on that same topic, there's a lot of BS, as you and I both know, in the fitness industry. St. Louis actually does a really good job of not having it for the most part.
It seems that way.
Is really why I like St. Louis a lot, because there's a lot of just straightforwardness when it comes to the fitness industry here. But on social media, you'll see things like, for example, there was this one girl on TikTok that had almost 2 million followers. And she was taking a 15-pound dumbbell across her body. For those of you on video, it's like literally coming from here, like an axe chop down, and just going overhead, and had like one leg lifted up at the same time, and was like, this will do more for your core than sit-ups or planks ever could. So it's stuff like that I'm talking about, that she was then calling essentially optimal training for the ladies and whatnot. I'm not even kidding. This is a literal video that I watched
And
on here.
the biggest problem with that is the wording of it. That's a good movement for core, even if you use a band too. Like that can be especially for rotational athletes.
Again, like you and I said, the exercises can be used in some way.
For sure.
Some way.
Sure. Now, I have a feeling, or at least I hope, I'm going to try and give this person the benefit of the doubt here. I'm going to hope that they're trying to get clicks. And, girls are obsessed with doing abs. I get it. Like, and honestly, I should probably do abs more often because it's good to train your core. But there is an obsession with that in the female community of the fitness world. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. It's just a fact. So when you use wording like that, you're going to get clicks, you're going to get likes, you're going to get views and all this stuff. So I'm hoping she doesn't actually believe that. If she does, maybe we should have a conversation.
Well, that's a whole nother scenario too, because it could be both of those things.
Right.
It could be she actually does believe it, and that's a whole nother, like you said, whole nother conversation to have with her there. But it also is definitely for clicks.
Yeah.
That type of wording is why she has almost 2 million followers on there.
Right.
Because she says stuff that it's like, this'll shed weight off of your waist in 2 weeks. And that was another part of the video.
That's my favorite.
So it was actually, if you know TNF on social media at all, just look him up, guys. He's actually has great bodybuilding content. But he was talking about it, and he was breaking down her exact videos. And one of the things she said was like, this exercise right here, and she had a band around her knees and was just doing like overhead crunches with a dumbbell. Will take in 2 weeks, will lower your waist size. And she just said it lowered mine and didn't like show any results of that being the case or anything like that. And again, we're not hating on female fitness influencers. We are hating on bullshit influencers is what's going on here.
Right.
And what we're talking about here. The problem is that type of content, again, optimization or saying this does this perfectly and takes off your weight and guarantees you a six-pack and whatnot.
In 2 weeks.
That's really what exercise is inducing a stimulus. Again, week by week, improving on that stimulus.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the idea of exercise. When you do movements that are really low load, like a 15-pound dumbbell just kind of crossing your body, or a 5-pound dumbbell going overhead into crunches week by week by week over and over again, then of course things are not going to turn out well for you if you follow that type of advice.
Right.
When instead you could be doing, let's say, hangs from a pull-up bar, and you could just be doing knee raises or leg raises.
Yeah.
And then eventually starting to add weight into that as you get more and more confident on that. Next thing you know, you're at the 8 to 10 rep mark. Okay, I'm able to jump back down to the 6 reps. I'm able to do this with a 30-pound dumbbell between my feet or attached to a belt or whatever it is, and I'm able to lift up.
Yeah.
Again, if you have questions on what I just said, the movement-wise there, ask us,
Yeah.
please. Because that on video on YouTube won't be as good of a description as our actual app will. But anyways, the point is that would be progression on abs for you ladies, for example. Even doing something like a V-up with a 15-pound dumbbell 1 week, and then you go to 20 or 25 the couple weeks after that, and then you go 30, et cetera.
Right.
That's progression.
Yeah.
V-ups are a phenomenal ab exercise.
Absolutely. Just like the knee raises you just mentioned.
100%. And again, like you said, that little wood chop that she was doing could probably be used in some scenarios.
Oh, yeah.
For different people.
Time when we were training our baseball guys.
Exactly.
We just used bands and we didn't have a leg up for it. But yeah, like an inline banded chop, those types of things, like it is actually really great for the rotational aspect.
Yes. Yes.
It's just
when programmed properly.
When programmed properly, for sure. And it's just the wording of those types of videos. And there's tons and tons of influencers. And listen, social media, like that's how it works. You know, that's how you're going to get people to click on it and buy your stuff and whatnot. Is it right? Is it wrong? I'm not really sure. You know, we can't sit here and say we've never done stuff like that either. You know, you got to do some clickbaity stuff sometimes.
Our last as of today, our last Instagram reel was a good example of that.
Yeah, right. So it's the same concept, but
Granted, those are breaking news ones too.
right. It's just
yeah.
the misleading factor is what's wrong. That's the biggest thing that's wrong there.
Well, I mean, because you could claim something in a really like dramatic way on social media, and if it actually does help, I mean that's a good thing. Like for example, if you claimed the back squat is going to add a lot of strength for you week by week if you progress it, and you put in all these like crazy letters and whatnot, and you put in all this crazy wording, then that's not really clickbaity. That's just true, because you will, if you do the back squat and progress it week by week, get stronger.
Absolutely.
But if you're just saying it in like cool wording on social media, okay,
Right.
like that's clickbaity, but it actually does help people
Right.
at that point in time whenever you're doing that. So the clickbait isn't necessarily the wrong aspect of it. It's what you're saying. It's the wording and the way they describe what the results are going to be from it. Results, when it comes to fitness, are going to be a long-term process. Progressive overload's a long-term process. It is not a 2 weeks and you'll shed belly fat type of process.
Right.
It is not this exercise within 4 weeks will make you as athletic as Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Because that's a lie.
Right. You also can't be Patrick Mahomes.
Or if you're Bob Stroop, just claim that Patrick Mahomes
Damn,
is...
you dropped the name.
Yeah. I mean, didn't we drop it with Brock too?
I don't think he did.
We
but
said Seedman. Seedman's a whole lot. I don't know if you've seen him before, but
I don't think I have.
I'll show you. He's an idiot. But anyways, Bob Stroop, he'll basically claim that Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes because of him. But
Right.
That's a whole other point.
Right.
Entirely.
Which Brock completely debunked too.
Oh, yeah.
He goes, Patrick Mahomes is a freak athlete. He can do the things he can because he's a freak athlete. Now, the training he does supplements that, which is the case for any professional athlete, really. If they're at the top of the game, if you're in the NFL, the NHL, the NBA, maybe, the MLB.
Just chirping the NBA every chance we get.
Dude, it sucks. I can't stand it. It's literally terrible.
Ass to watch.
However, those guys, the four major sports, if you are at the highest level of those, you are there for a reason because you're a freak athlete.
You hypothetically had a lot of discipline.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
That's
dude, we're not even talking about all the other stuff that comes with it.
We're talking about the genetic aspect.
Correct.
100%.
Because
you can't be a pro NBA player if you're 5'6" and you're a white guy who can jump at a 20-inch vertical.
You're right, unless you're like Spud Webb, but he wasn't white.
That's true. Yeah.
Nate Robinson, also not white, though.
Shoot. Damn it.
Yeah.
They're damn verticals.
Yeah, right? But you are correct. You don't get to the top of those sports with just the freak athlete alone.
Or your strength training alone. That's
Correct.
not going to get you to that level alone.
Correct.
It's probably that you played multiple sports, as lots of
Could
research
be.
has shown. If you played 3 or 4 sports, those are the best athletes.
Could be.
So
yeah.
parents listening, have your kids play multiple sports. Don't have them play the sport year round, as we talked about with Brock too.
Bingo.
So
there
anyways.
it is. All right, guys. At the end of all of our non-guest episodes, Money Mitch will ask us a Q&A question. We have a few different ways we would like you guys to submit these to us. First, you can DM them to us on Instagram at untapped.llp. You can also DM them to us individually. You can text them to us if you have our numbers. You can email them to us. Our email is extricationfitness@gmail.com. There is an email button in our Instagram and Facebook bios because I know it's a mouthful. You can also leave them in the comments of our YouTube posts, our YouTube clip channel posts as well, because we do have an alternate channel now called Untapped Podcast Clips, where we're posting like 2 to 5 minute clips of the full length.
Every other day right now.
Yeah.
What we're looking for.
Yeah.
Usually about 3+ a week.
Yeah.
Is the goal. Yeah.
So guys, go subscribe to that new channel and go watch those clips if you have not already. But you can leave them in the comments of our Instagram posts, the YouTube post, TikTok. You can tweet them at us. We are very reachable. Very, very reachable.
Very.
And then more often here, too, we will start putting up stories in the week just with a question box on there. Makes it a little bit easier. We're all on Instagram all the time. So that'll be another way. But all those other ways are the first way we'd like you to submit those to us. All those questions get sent to Money Mitch. He then picks one out that pertains to the topic of the episode, or sometimes just a question you guys have about anything. Sometimes they're funny. We love the funny ones. So bring us some funny questions.
Yeah.
And then he picks one out and he asks us at the end of the episode. So, with all that being said, Money Mitch.
Maybe more commentary, but I've heard a lot of this from people is that optimization can almost be changed out for consistency. is what it sounds like what you guys were talking about the whole time. So I guess you could derive a question from that saying, are consistency and optimization the same thing, right? Could you consistently do functional movements that you see people do with like maces and kettlebells and stuff like that and be optimized in your training? Or could you be optimized in only doing bodybuilding? Or could you be optimized because you're consistent in playing sports, right? So you're only going to get good at stuff by being consistent in it. I mean, you could apply that to stuff outside of fitness. You could apply it to playing the piano. You could apply it to work. You could apply it to anything.
Cybersecurity.
I think the standard is it's like 10,000 hours or something like that, become an expert or something like that. So are they interchangeable or what's kind of the deal there?
That's a good question. I would say they can be the same, but in the same breath, I will say that I think some people may use the optimization as an excuse to not be consistent. So it's like, well, I'm just gonna work out once a week, but it's gonna be the most optimal workout ever known to man. And it's like, well, what about the other 6 days of the week? Because I'm pretty sure one workout during the week doesn't just cover the other 6 days. Now, hey, if it does and that works, like you need to let us know because that's pretty awesome.
I was gonna say it's probably there's probably an added concoction of something called trenbolone acetate also in that equation.
So the reason I bring it up, because you guys were most talking about like gym stuff, like weightlifting stuff, it seems to be a commonly accepted fact, maybe standard, that to get better at, say, running, you got to run a lot. You got to be consistent in running.
Got to increase your mileage.
Right. So that's being consistent. Are you necessarily optimizing your running? We're kind of staying in the realm of weightlifting right now. Why isn't that, necessarily accepted there too? So
yeah. So I guess what is your actual question then off of that?
Is consistency and optimization the same thing? We'll stick with the original one.
Gotcha.
Maybe you guys can spark some conversation off that.
I like him added in that little commentary.
Yeah.
That's good though. Yeah. He's always good at getting us on good direction a lot of the times. One thing I wanted to go back with Mitchell said in the first part of the question there, he was talking about with bodybuilding, with kettlebell training, with athletic training, whatever that falls into category wise, with powerlifting, etc. I think that's an important point there, is that there is multiple avenues. Goal wise, you can go down multiple avenues. And optimization, as you can tell in this episode, the word itself has gotten a very negative connotation in the fitness industry. And I don't like that, because something being optimal is a good thing.
Sure.
If it's optimal, it's the right thing for you. It works really well in the gym. Awesome. Okay. So it's not a bad word inherently. It's just that the way it's used doesn't always line up with consistency nowadays.
Yeah.
They should line up.
Right.
Hypothetically. Right. And so anyways, the point is like, if you have kettlebell goals, perfect. You should be training with kettlebells pretty commonly.
Absolutely.
And that should be a thing and by the way, kettlebell training, Clifton Harsky is a great resource for that. He's also based in St. Louis as well, but went to one of his kettlebell certs like a couple months back at Jeff's gym. That was phenomenal. So he's a great resource for that type of training as well, because he's really specific with it, and he actually owns and runs a certification for it. But anyways, if your goals are within kettlebells, you need to be training in the proper manner with them. Kettlebells also, by the way, Cliff would tell you this, if you load them and use heavier and heavier kettlebells, you're going to progress, which is going to be optimal consistency-wise. Running, if you consistently increase, let's say you're building up to a marathon or a half marathon, like JT's he did a couple years ago, because I had to do this. When I was building up to his first half marathon in February of 23, I think it was, I had to slowly increase my mileage week by week. It was, at first I was running maybe 2 to 3 miles that first 2 weeks or so. Then I started building up to the 3, 4, 5, and then it built up to the 7 to 8, etc. Obviously, with 13.1 being a half marathon, it still hurt like a bitch when I did run it. I will say that. So it's not like, that's another thing too, is like, I think a lot of people hear optimization, they think that, oh, it's just going to be easy when I get to do the marathon, or it's going to be easy when I get to pick up 405 pounds on a deadlift.
Still 405 pounds.
That video you sent me of you deadlifting it for the first time didn't look easy.
No. But that was actually like my second or third attempt, if I remember.
Did it look like great form? And was it great execution? Did you battle through? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Same thing if you're running a marathon or a half marathon, you're battling through it. And your training supplemented that.
Yeah.
So consistency is probably what really should be considered the optimal route.
Exactly.
Nowadays.
That's where I was going to go with it.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Because again, if Mitchell wasn't consistent with his work at St. Cloud when he was there going to school, he would be useless for his company right now as a cybersecurity expert, whatever you want to call him, whatever his title is these days.
Owner.
Owner of his company, CEO, C-suite executive. He's not a C-suite executive. Just make that clear.
Not yet.
Just in case his company's listening to that. He's not stealing a spot there. Not yet. But point remains is that, yes, consistency is optimal. And I would actually lean toward using consistency more just because optimal and optimization has gotten used so much and overused. Right. I would probably say we push away from that and focus on the consistency aspect with it. Which, again, if you need help with the consistency aspect, a good program can help with that, which Untapped Training, we do exactly that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Nope. I think that's hitting the nail on the head there to end it off. So, guys, that is episode 146. Please share the show. Share it to Instagram stories. Share it with your friends and families. Take a picture of your screen if you're watching on YouTube. It helps us grow tremendously. It's also free for you. Okay?
Comment, like, subscribe, also free.
That is right. That is right. So, guys, until next time, peace and love.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up.